Hello, my name is Darishka Johnson. This is class 622. The date is 12/13/2018. So I want to discuss my experiences and what I've learned and a summary of my blogs that I've done throughout the semester. So when I begin with week 1, we talked about organizational behavior and the importance of organizational behavior. We also talked about the evolution of management and how it emerged from different disciplines such as psychology, sociology, political science, and economics. And we also touched on the roots of management and management theories. We read an article, and it basically told you how to read a scholarly article. And it was saying the introduction is basically an overview of the study. It explained the abstract of the article, which the summary was about. It was about what the article was talking about. It also had literature review, the methods of the results, which had the description of the results, the study, the discussion, the conclusion, and also the references. So throughout my blog, it asked me how I wanted to be managed at work. And I was talking about I wanted to be organized. I wanted to be an organized structure where you told me step by step what to do, my process. I can come to you with questions. I can get better. I can take notes. I can go by those notes. I work best in environments like that. So throughout the second week on Module 2, we learned about perception, attitude, and individual differences. Perception is the process by which individuals organize and interpret their sensory impressions in order to give meaning to their environment. We touched on stereotyping, and we also watched the introversion TED Talk, which helped me learn a lot because I didn't know anything about introverts or extroverts. And she talked about how introverts can benefit the workplace, how they're different, but they can still benefit the workplace, just give those people a chance. So my blog that week was about the Big Five personality test, and I believe my results were very accurate. I agree with everything they were saying about me. Also, it said a lot about my personality and what type of person I was. We also learned about multiple intelligences, and one thing that stuck out for me was musical intelligence. And you always hear Kanye West call himself a genius. And now I know, okay, so you're a musical genius. You have musical intelligence. You can tell things that maybe you notice things that other people may not notice. So when we go on to the third week, we talked about theory X and theory Y. We also touched on the power of motivation and Maslow's hierarchy. Maslow's hierarchy has 5 levels of needs, and they all need to be met. This helped me throughout my class because it taught me that I need to meet my basic needs first. So far as you need to be eating, sleeping, doing all these things before you can jump to different hierarchies and different levels. So I believe that blog was talking about punishment versus rewards as a motivating tool. I wrote about growing up in school and how they always had positive reinforcement. My parents would give me money if I got good grades, and I thought that that was a good thing. But I think I could have went back and I could have talked about ways. I don't think reward and punishment should necessarily have to be in the workplace. I think we should try to motivate our employees in another way without rewarding them or without punishing them, but they just want to do their work and they do it correctly. I want to soon learn and figure out a way to do that. So with Module 4, we talked about the organization communication model. Communication is the exchange between a sender and a receiver. We talked about interpersonal processes, and the purpose of this is control. And you're basically clarifying your duties. I learned that soon to be a leader who knows how to communicate and have interpersonal skills, and I also want to learn how to control the workplace in a positive way. It talked about the different communication models so far as verbal and nonverbal and electronic. I have learned that it's not always good to get in a habit of office jargon, especially if, like me, I work through different temp services. So I can't keep speaking in jargon or short talking because people won't know what I'm talking about. Blog 4, I talked about nonverbal skills so far as in an interview. I like to make sure I'm shaking hands and I'm making eye contact. This is a sign of respect, and it really says a lot. I remember going on different types of interviews and I didn't shake their hand, and when I asked for feedback, they're like, well, you didn't have a firm handshake, you didn't have a good handshake, or your nails were all chipped up and all this other stuff. You didn't make eye contact. We didn't know if you were listening or you were paying attention. So I know those things are very important. I know I should have went back in my blog and talked more about the jargon and abbreviations of organizations within the company. We also talked about intercultural communication, and that was a very interesting subject because I had never heard of it. And it helped me realize that it was more common than what people actually thought, because I dealt with it in school. I haven't fully seen it in the workplace, but I did talk about in school when I learned about it, and how we touched on Muslims and their cultures and things like that. And I read some of my classmates in this class. It seemed like they dealt with it a lot. So hopefully I'll be introduced to it in the workplace. We also talked about positive and negative groups in the workplace. I've worked in both positive and negative groups. I've talked about it throughout my blog, my negative experience I had working in a group. But I think the problem was I thought it was a team. I thought we would have the same goal. I thought we were working together, when actually we were just a group of people and we were working at the same place, and we were all in the financial area. So they couldn't help me as much as I thought they could. Then I talked about positive experience when I do accounts payable. And my accounts payable team, we all constantly work together. We help each other. We have the same goals. One person isn't just responsible, all of us is responsible. We all hold together as a team. I've done that in this class also, where we were emailing each other and then we got each other's phone numbers, and we're just communicating with each other so we can all get the best grade that we can get. So with another blog, it touched on values and culture elements. That was for the intercultural blog. It also talked about ethics, what's right and what's wrong. We've been learning that all through the course. I've learned that values are set at an adolescence age and remain relatively stable until you're in your adulthood. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it starts with an H. From the Netherlands. He created the 6 basic issues that societies need to come to terms with in order to organize itself. We've also talked about conflict in the workplace, and I've learned that my conflicts in particular were effective, and it means that a disagreement can quickly become personal, may escalate because of miscommunication, and I've learned it's better to do things correctly, talk in person, don't go back and forth through email or text messages, anything like that. So that's the best way to solve the problems throughout the organization. I've learned a lot in this class. I've grown a lot from this class because I've learned different things that I haven't even heard of before. So, thank you.